I believe that we have changed that policy. We have started to withdraw forces. We will withdraw more. Another decision will be made in August. I will not indicate the number because the number will depend upon the extent of the training of the South Vietnamese, as well as developments in Paris and the other factors that I mentioned previously. As far as how many will be withdrawn by the end of this year or the end of next year, I would hope that we could beat Mr. Clifford's timetable, just as I think we've done a little better than he did when he was in charge of our national defense.
When and where do you expect to begin arms talks with the Soviet Union? And do you favor suspension of the testing of multiple warheads in the meantime?
We are just completing our own strategic review, and as a matter of fact, the National Security Council meeting dealing with our position on SALT talks, as they are described, the first was held this last Friday, and the second will be held on Wednesday. Consultation with our allies will then proceed through the balance of June and through July. We have set July 31st as a target date for the beginning of talks, and Secretary Rogers has so informed the Soviet ambassador. We have not had a reply from them. Assuming that our consultations are completed, that the Soviet find this date is acceptable to them, I would say that sometime between July 31st and the 15th of August, there would be a meeting. As far as the place for the meeting is concerned, it could be Vienna, it could be Geneva. We're open on that question.
Mr. President, 5 months ago at your first news conference, you described the Middle East as a dangerously explosive situation in need of diffusing. In the 5 months since that time, do you think there's been any diffusing that you can measure, or do you think the situation has become acutely worse?
I would have to admit that I see very little diffusing. The situation is better only from the standpoint that we do have some four-power talks going, and we would trust that from those talks we might get some basis of communication between the two sides, and particularly that we might get all parties involved, including the Soviet Union, to use their influence to defuse a crisis. The talks will serve that interest if they serve no other interest. Also in that connection, I would like to say that I, as you know, have met already with the King of Jordan, and I'm hoping to meet sometime within the next month with the Prime Minister of Israel. We intend to have bilateral talks, multilateral talks, anything that we can do to attempt to defuse the situation.